any time that I have where it's just us and it's just us having our time, I know, is really special. And I feel like she's not gonna remember it, but I'm gonna remember
You're
it.
never going to forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Rumina's Story Hour, the positive breastfeeding podcast. Rumina is the Roman goddess of breastfeeding. These are her stories. All right, and welcome to the podcast. Our guest today is Krista. I met Krista, she's
Almost 6 months
almost
postpartum.
6 months ago. Yes. And I gotta say, you got the cheekiest, cutest baby.
I
Yes,
do.
yes, you
Yes,
do.
she is the most beautiful baby that I've ever seen, and a lot of
I,
people say that.
I am sure a lot of people say that. Um, okay, so welcome to the podcast. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. I was so excited when you brought it up.
Yeah, I know, right? We weren't even planning this. We had our visit last week or 2 weeks ago,
And it just happened.
and then you were like, "Yeah, I want to do that."
I I I think that breastfeeding is one of those things that doesn't get talked about enough, and I feel like I wanna talk about it, and I don't get the opportunity to all the time, so when you brought it up, I was like, "Yes, I would love to talk about this part of being a mom," because nobody wants to know about that part, or nobody, like, asks about that part, but I love talking
Or
about it.
or you hear a bunch of negative stories about it,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is the whole reason we started this thing is because somebody's got to have somewhere to go listen to s- positive stories about it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Did you know when you were pregnant or before then that you wanted to breastfeed?
Yes. I always knew that I was gonna give it all that I could to breastfeed. I had, like, the window of, like, okay, maybe it won't work out, like, keeping my expectations, but I knew that I wanted to take every step that I could to breastfeed for as long as possible, to the best of my ability. Um,
Do you know what like led to that decision? Was it like did you know?
Honestly, I wanted that mother-child bonding experience. I wanted something that was just ours. I was gonna be a I knew I was gonna be a working mom. I
Mhm.
knew I wasn't gonna be there day to day with her, and I wanted something that was just ours. Um, and, there's the other financial component of, like, not wanting to deal with formula, wanting to just have it be available all the time where
Mhm.
if she wanted to eat, she could eat if I was there, um, and all of that, but really just primarily I wanted us to have something special.
Aw, that's so nice. Um, do you know if you were breastfed?
I know that I was not. My mother passed away when I was born, so I was not breastfed. I don't know if I used donor milk or formula or whatnot, but I know that I
Uh-huh.
was not breastfed.
Oh, wow, Krista, I didn't mean to stumble into that.
It's okay.
Is it okay to leave that in the story?
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I don't all this time, I didn't even really realize that about you.
I mean, it's not something that I bring up
I
with
bet.
everybody,
I'm
but
sure.
it is definitely, I think, plays a role in my parent story, like
Yeah, I'm
how
sure
I
it
am with
does.
my daughter. Um, but no, I was not breastfed.
So, just out of curiosity, like, who raised you?
My dad did for the
Mhm.
first about 3 years, and then he married my stepmom,
Uh-huh.
and, she was very involved, obviously.
Yeah.
So, she's kind of been she actually, I think, met my father at one of my, like, 6-month, 8-month, like, postpartum or baby appointments, I guess.
Oh,
Because she was a nurse, and he brought me into the clinic, and they hit it off.
wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
so she's
What
been in the picture for quite a while.
okay, good. So, did any like I guess what I'm wondering is like were there any women in your life that were like, yeah, breastfeeding's great, you should do it, or was it just like you made a decision for a different reason?
Um I mean, I saw my sister breastfeed with her kids, before I had Eleanor, and but I really think it was just always something that I wanted to do. It
Mhm.
was it was kind of one of those things where I always wanted to be a mom. and I always wanted to
Yeah.
breastfeed. Like, I don't know exactly where those urges come from, but it just felt like this is something I really, really want.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it only got stronger when I was pregnant. I was like, "Yes, we're gonna give this a go. We're gonna do
Awesome.
it."
That's great. And okay. Um, and so how did things go starting out?
Um, well, you were there when it started out. We put her on the breast. I had an emergency C-section, which kind of threw things for a loop.
Mhm.
Um, and I honestly don't really remember the first time that like we latched her, but I remember it being a thing where it's like, okay, like we've weighed her, we did the all of the baby assessments, like it's time to like latch her. And I remember that she latched. And
Mhm.
I remember being like, okay, perfect,
Mm.
perfect. She did it. Yay.
Yeah.
um, we're good to go. Rest of, our breastfeeding journey, we're set. She latched. And then I think it was like later that night or early the next morning, she wouldn't latch.
Uh-huh.
She wouldn't latch. And I don't, it's all kind of blurry because it was still that fresh haze of, being in pain and surgery and everything. But I just remember being like, oh my God, was it just a fluke? Like, are we doomed now? Um,
Oh,
and then the hospital sent in lactation consultant.
yeah.
And it was like, "Okay, cool, we'll try this." And honestly, I don't remember a bunch about it except for that we both cried. Eleanor cried, and then I cried because it was very, very stressful. Because you were teaching us all of these things and, like, how to make her latch and, like, yes, she was gonna be upset about it and everything, and I just remember being like, "Oh my god, this is so hard, and if is she gonna be upset every time we do this?" Like,
Mhm.
I thought it was something that was gonna happen naturally, where, like, she would just latch and we would be
Mhm.
good. It wasn't something that I thought she had to learn or that I had to really learn,
Mhm.
and there was a moment of panic and fear where I was like, "Oh my god, what if I can't do this?"
Mm,
Um,
aw. Yeah.
like, I don't know, it was very intimidating, I'll say, like, it's like, "Oh, I
Mhm.
have to have this other person teach me how to feed my baby," and it was like, immediately after birth is, I think, a very emotional and vulnerable time. I mean, my husband wasn't able to be at the hospital because he was sick, and so I didn't have him, and I had my mother-in-law, of course,
Mhm.
watching and being there, and it was just very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Um, so it was not a smooth start. I thought it was, but it was kind of a false start, and then we had all these latching problems. Um,
Mhm. And did that resolve before you left the hospital, or did it resolve later?
um, we had one of the lactation consultants at the hospital, they brought the nipple shield in,
Mhm.
and that she would latch with that.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, I would say it was temporarily resolved where it was like, okay, as long as I have the nipple shield on, Eleanor will latch.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Mhm.
We'll deal with weaning her off the nipple shield at a later date.
Yeah.
Um, which was good. And in that moment when, you're just trying to get your baby home and settle into those first days, I feel like that worked really well for us.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit of a hassle, I have to put it on, wash it, take it off. Like it was an extra step.
Yeah.
Um, but it was good. She was breastfeeding. And I think we stuck with it for about a month. And then I was like, okay, lactation consultant at the hospital told us that eventually we have to wean off this thing. We can't use it forever. Um, and I had tried doing that by myself, but she wasn't really taking. Um, so then we had to again visit with lactation consultant,
Mhm.
and eventually she got there. I still think her latch is not the best. Um,
Right. She kind of developed some sucking habits
yes, she definitely has
that
her.
were not like directly latched,
Yeah.
kind of like a little bit of the way she would suck on a bottle or on the shield.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't know the terminology and the details, but I know her latch is not perfect, but it
Mhm.
works for us. And it's something where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it can be a little uncomfortable at times, but it
But
works.
it's fine.
It's fine.
It works. And
Yeah.
this baby is super duper
Oh yeah,
thriving.
yeah.
Oh my
She is
god.
eating plenty. She's eating plenty.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Yeah.
kind of just let her do what she wants to do because it's okay.
Yeah. So I want to circle back to something you said, and it kind of like I hear a lot of moms say this, that in those moments you think it's permanent forever. Like moms will be like, I got a great latch. We're gonna have a great latch forever. I had a bad latch. I'm gonna have that bad latch forever.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, is that like something you learned to overcome? Or was it just like the hormones were so overwhelming you that it felt like you weren't gonna?
I think a lot of it definitely was the hormones. I think everything is overwhelming in those first few months. Um, and so everything feels like extremes, yes or no, good, bad. There's never, I wouldn't say never, but like, you know what I mean? Where it's, you only see like the extremes of either side. You don't see like,
Mhm.
oh, it's gonna get better. You're gonna have that middle ground.
Mhm.
Um,
Do you still have that, you think? Or have you learned like, okay, let me take it more in stride or
I think I'm much better at taking things in stride. I think I had to learn to let go a little bit of everything being perfect and everything going the way everything is supposed to be and the way I planned, and kind of just listen to her and me, and like it's very much a relationship where it's like, okay, she's not in the mood or she doesn't want to latch perfectly, like, okay, we'll just roll with the punches.
yeah.
And I don't think I was very good at that when I
Well, I think there's so many unknowns too. Like what bad thing is gonna happen if we don't get it perfect right this minute?
yeah.
Is she gonna get enough to eat? That's the biggest
Yes.
one.
Especially in those first weeks where they're like looking for her to get back up to her weight. Um, and she wasn't back up to her weight at her 2-week appointment.
Mhm.
Um, Now, luckily that quickly resolved and she's doing just fine.
Clearly.
She's doing just fine. Um, but there was that moment of like, "Oh my gosh, I'm failing." And I
Oh,
feel like you hear a lot about that. Like, I don't know where exactly I've heard this, but you hear a lot about, "Oh my gosh, you have to get back up to your weight. You have to do all of these things. And if you don't, you failed somehow." Um, and so I don't know, it's just like
that's
almost
an enormously like what a hard belief set, like belief system to fight against when you're trying your best and you're just wanting to be a good mom. It's
yeah.
like it's hard enough just to become a mom, but then to like face this sort of like judgment, right?
Yeah. You feel like you're being assessed at every, pediatrician appointment, or every time somebody, like, looks at your baby and is like, "Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Oh my god," like, people just comment on different things. It's like, "Oh my gosh, she's so tiny," or "She's so big," or, some people will ask if you're breastfeeding, or, "Oh, is she bu," like, people just ask questions and you feel like you're on display,
Uh-huh.
and your answer matters. Like, they're
Yeah.
gonna judge you or take it a certain way. Um and I feel like it's a lot of responsibility. I mean, being a mom is a huge responsibility, but then when you add breastfeeding where it's like you are, responsible for sustaining your child, it's
Mhm.
it's a big responsibility, and it's it can be overwhelming. I feel like I say overwhelming a lot, but it
Mhm.
is overwhelming, and you just
Mhm.
want it to be perfect.
Of course we want everything to be perfect for our babies, right? And
Yeah.
we want to be like, but there is no perfect mom or perfect baby, and I think it's just like it's a I don't know, is that an innate thing that we just need and want that, or is that a societal pressure thing, a competitive societal pressure thing that says, "Oh, I got to compare myself to everybody else. And then I have professionals comparing my baby to other babies."
Yes. I mean, I think a lot of that comes from social media and the internet and like, we can see too much of other people's lives, and everybody else's lives looks perfect compared to ours in some way.
Yeah.
Um, which is, you shouldn't listen to those things, but
Yeah.
it's
So speak on that. Like if you could go back in time and talk to yourself and tell yourself or tell these other moms that might be listening, what would you tell them now about the perfection or and the pressure and all that?
I would say you gotta just try to tune it out. You gotta focus on you and your baby, because that's what it comes down to. It is a relationship between you and your baby. And you gotta, like, communicate with each other, and you gotta kind of go with the flow. Because some days you're not gonna feel your best, other days they're not gonna feel their best. You kind of just gotta roll with it. Like, nobody else can talk about or, depict what your relationship should be, because it's not. You're two people,
Yeah.
and it's just between you two, which is
Yeah.
honestly what I wanted when I chose to breastfeed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so scary when it's like, okay, what if something's going wrong with that?
Everybody else butting their nose in,
Yeah, and
right? And
yeah,
being like, "Oh, are you 2 doing this good enough?" And
yeah.
yeah. If you were when in those times when people were looking at you and the baby and kinda going, "Oh, are you guys doing enough, feeding enough? Are you enough?" Did you and the baby feel like it was enough?
I mean, she's pretty much been a pretty happy kid,
Yeah.
so I don't think.
Some moms will talk about their intuition was like, everything seemed fine with me and the baby. We figured it out. We were nursing. We were doing great. And it was all this other outside influence that was the thing that was throwing me off. And then other moms will be like, no, I really didn't feel like I knew what like between me and the baby, I was insecure. What do you think?
I feel like once we figured out the dairy-free thing, because I did feel like there was something going on, on top of the latch. Um, and
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you really want me to get, but it was after the dairy-free and figuring out that,
So she had a dairy intolerance?
yes, cow's milk protein allergy.
How did you sort that out?
Um, Based on her fussiness, behavior, um, the official way we diagnosed it was, the looking for blood in her stool. But I suspected that there could be an issue because my sister's babies had, um, the cow's milk protein allergy.
Okay.
So, and I read that it could be, genetic, or there could be some familial link. So I knew it was a possibility that could explain the fussiness, the difficulty pooping, all of, her unsettledness after feeding. She kind of had all of the boxes.
Uh-huh.
Plus, the just we knew that it was a possibility and it was a thing. Um, so we kind of knew to go looking for it.
Yeah.
Um, and our pediatrician initially was like, no, babies are fussy. Babies have to learn to poop. Like, she's fine. Give it more time.
Uh-huh.
And we were kind of like, maybe she's right. Maybe the pediatrician is right. Maybe like we are just exhausted and weren't expecting a baby to be so fussy and all these things.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm actually really glad that I knew to be looking for it. And I took her to my sister and was like, just spend a day with her and see
Mhm.
if this is anything like what it was like with your two kids. And
Right.
she, at the end of that day, she was like, babies are fussy.
Mhm.
Um, but looking at her stools and things like that, like there's some similarities. It's worth checking out.
Okay.
So she told me, like, bring a diaper your next visit. Like,
Yeah.
just bring her in.
Yeah.
Bring the diaper and say, hey, I have this diaper. Can you just run the test? Advocate for Eleanor. And I was like, okay, cool.
Oh.
And if it's nothing, it's nothing. We'll move on to, like, okay, what else do we need to address? And it was there. And then it was like, okay, good. We got it. We figured out what's wrong.
Right.
Um,
So you did dairy elimination diet?
we did dairy elimination, which the first couple days was so overwhelming because it was like,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. And again, that fear crops up of, oh my gosh, can I do it? Is there, like, the pediatrician brings up formula and things like that. And it's like, I don't want to do that. Um, but you also want her to be healthy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I don't know what I can eat. And what I think I ate two foods the first week until I figured out, how to work around it and read the labels and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then after we figured out the dairy allergy, it was like, okay, we kind of hit our stride. We figured it out. She was latching. She was happy after eating. Um, she was sleeping better. Um, we hit our
She started to
stride.
really gain weight,
Yes, she
thrive.
did.
Yeah.
So it took longer than I expected from
Uh-huh.
that initial, like, okay, she latched immediately after birth, to, okay, now we're like chilling.
Yeah.
We have our breastfeeding relationship that we were looking for. Or that I was looking for. Um, but there was definitely more bumps in the road than I expected.
Mhm.
And I feel like you don't hear about the bumps in the road. You just hear about, okay, breastfeed your baby.
Mhm.
Um,
Or you hear about only bumps in the road.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
it is one or the other, but you don't always hear about the specific bumps in the road. Like I
Yeah.
hadn't
Yeah.
really heard about the protein allergy other than my sister having it, and I didn't hear about, okay, your baby might latch at first, but then they don't.
Right.
Um,
Right. And that's so normal. And people think it's not normal.
yeah.
And everybody just panics when they're like, because your baby, that's the thing. Your baby's not going to latch every time that you try to latch them. And most people think, well, you either they latch perfectly every time or they don't latch at all. And it's usually a mix.
Yeah, and I had no idea.
Yeah.
And again, I guess that again comes back to the flexibility of sometimes she's not going to latch. Sometimes I'll have to give her a minute or change up what I'm doing or
Change your position.
yeah.
See if the other thing that we don't, what we don't talk about is we think it's all about us doing it instead of it actually is the baby doing it.
Yeah, she very much runs the show. And I wish it wasn't like that. Um, like I
She does run the show. She's an angel,
yeah,
but she is a very independent young lady.
yes.
Yes,
And she knows what she wants when she wants it.
strong person,
Yeah.
aren't you? Okay, so um, yeah, let's fill that gap. Let's talk about that. Um, if we are only hearing negative or we're only hearing like, oh, it's going to be perfect, it's like, whoa, but what really lies between is like, no, this is sometimes challenging, and it's like a feed at a time.
Mhm.
And but also it's like kind of like either it's going to be perfect or the world's going to end, and it's not how it is.
No, it's not how it is. You know,
It's like rarely do we have a situation where if the baby doesn't latch one time, like it's such a disaster that we can't overcome it. That's just, but it feels that
it
way.
does feel that way. And I know that because I've been there and it feels that way. It feels like you failed or like,
Yeah. So don't listen to that.
yeah, don't. I wish if I could go back and tell myself something in that moment, like those first couple days postpartum, feel like she's gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna learn.
Yeah.
I thought they came out of the womb like knowing how to do this, and they don't.
They don't.
They don't. I don't know why nobody told me
Well,
that.
they do and they don't. It's both. They know, they know a little bit. They know innately to seek the breast, find it, open their mouth, and then reflexes take over where they feel the nipple hit the roof of their mouth, they start sucking. They practice sucking in the womb on their fingers. So they know that and they know scent, and they're just like, and they don't have any, they're not thinking, am I doing this right or wrong?
Mhm.
Like so much. They get frustrated at the breast when they can't figure it out, when they're like, they want it so bad and they're like, but, like, I don't think anybody really realizes it takes all week, that first week, for a baby to learn and relearn the skills, and, like, the idea that a baby has to latch, they might practice the latch. Did I say this to you? They might practice the latch 10 or 15 times, just the latch part, at each session before they start sucking. They might suck, "I wanna latch. Alright, I'm gonna latch again." And the mom looking at that is thinking, why won't my baby latch? Why is
Yeah,
my baby won't stay
they
latched?
they won't stay latched, and that was one
And
huge thing with her is she would just
not
fatigue herself practicing the latch, I guess,
yeah.
or she couldn't get one where she was comfortable and she would just
They
give up.
like to develop muscle memory, and they'll practice the latch like repetitions. Well, I want to do 10 repetitions and get it before I go to the sucking part. But when you don't know that as a mom, it's like, what?
What's
Why
going
won't
on?
my baby stay latched, and why won't my baby suck? And moms will like be really worried when the baby takes pauses.
Mhm.
You know, they suck 3 times and pause. Well, that's a normal sucking pattern. But
Yeah, I had no idea about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's hard because you don't know what you don't know in the moment. That's what consultants are for. but, we're not there for every single feed.
No.
Yeah.
I was terrified leaving the hospital without you, without the lactation consultants.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god, this is like life and death." It felt like life and death. I was like, "Can I just"
Well, that's what I gotta give a nice shout out, hand it to your mother-in-law who was there in the hospital with you, and because she was like, "I don't care what it costs. I don't care. You come to the house and see her?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I will. I absolutely will." And she's like, and I think you were like, "It's okay. I'll do it." And then she was like, "Nope, nope.
Mhm. Yeah, she really,
It is
really, really
okay to
advocated.
get it." She was such a strong advocate for you, getting what you needed and being successful. And because she knew, because she had
Yeah,
breastfed, and she was like, "No, women need women when they're nursing, because you don't know if you didn't never done it before."
yeah. I
Well,
I was honestly shocked by that. I had never seen that side of my mother-in-law, and for her to advocate so strongly, like, it was kind of I'd always kind of pegged her as a person that would be like, "Okay, obviously this is not working, just do the
move on
formula."
to the next
Yeah,
thing.
and she didn't do that, and
Not at all.
and it was great, and
Yeah,
it took me a while to accept her help in that regard because I knew my insurance was gonna be a pain in the butt about it, and I was like,
yeah.
"I can't afford this while on maternity leave," and then she just kept pushing it. She was like, "Just call, just call."
Just call. It's okay.
Yeah,
It was the most lovely gift, and she's still 6 months on, and she's still like, "Whatever you need." It's
yeah.
so
I encourage everybody to just do it. Even
just
just the
do
1 or 2 visits,
yeah,
just have that support
'cause it'll
because
it'll at least make you feel better.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So, when we started the conversation, I wanted to talk about how much you love what do you love about breastfeeding? What do you love it? Do you love it? You wanted to
I
do it, you, like, got through your challenges.
I love the cuddles. I love just having her close and, like, the quiet, because babies are never quiet. She's never quiet. But when she's eating, she's like, just a little angel.
She is an angel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know. I don't mind the late night feeds because that's my time with her. I
Mhm.
work, so, any time that I have where it's just us and it's just us having our time, I know, is really special, and I feel like she's not gonna remember it, but I'm gonna remember
You're
it.
never gonna forget it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wish she could remember it. I wish she could remember all the frustration, all of the work that I put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears that I was really pushing for, being able to have the time with her. But I think one day, hopefully, she'll have a kid and she'll understand.
Yeah. Yeah, she'll probably breastfeed her babies too. Yeah.
I will definitely support it.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yes,
just
she
like her Gigi, and I will support it,
mhm.
and I'll know how to support it better.
That's true.
She loves
Tell me
support.
more about night feeding. Like, I love breastfeeding at night.
It is like the best and the worst part of breastfeeding. It's the best because it's that quiet time. Like on the nights when I don't have to go to work the next morning, oh, I can do it all night.
Mhm.
I love laying next to her. I love having her there. She's
You do
latching
the
so much
sideline
easier. I do the
position?
sideline.
Mhm.
Um, and I admit sometimes it can be very hard to stay awake in that position. But you know, she's so sleepy and you see like the just instinct where she's just like, I want to eat. I want to
Mhm.
eat.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like she doesn't do that a lot during the day because she gets distracted by everything else where her little instincts to latch are not there. And then so at night she's just a baby. She's
And
just
then
everything.
she's just settled and sweet, and
Yeah.
I remember looking at my babies at night, and I just felt like they're all mine, and there's nobody else around that I have to share. I felt really selfish about it. I didn't have to share the baby with anybody else, and it was like something I was doing for them that nobody else could do,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I
It's
felt so close to them, and I would just marvel at their beauty, their little eyelashes, their little cheeks.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think that people really try to avoid the nights as much as possible, and I understand people have to, like, function, but, like, I even did a piece of art about night feeding,
Wow.
like breastfeeding at night, because it was like, because I found it to be just so special. I woke up in the night and I was like, "Oh my god, look how precious you are."
Yeah,
And you feel that way too?
I do. It, like, brings you back to, like, when you're pregnant and it's just you and the baby, and nobody else is really involved. Like, you have all your support people, but it's just you and the baby, and you can feel the kicks and all the movement and all, and it's just it brings back all those memories. And it almost makes you, like, long to have that time back, like,
I felt the
and
exact same way.
it's the closest you're gonna get. And you also
Yeah.
know there's only a finite number. It's already been 6 months.
Yeah.
She's only gonna want to wake up in the middle of the night so many more times.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is a lot of pressure to sleep train and to sleep through the night, and you see everybody else, and there are nights when she wakes up 5 times, and it's like, "Gosh, do I do the sleep training? Do I try to cut out the feeds? Do I do everything that everybody else is saying?" And it's like, deep down, I don't think I wanna cut out the night feeds. I don't think that that's something that I should do. It's something that tired me wants to do.
Sure. But
Yeah.
between you and the baby, it's like, no way, right? Like, that's not, like, why would I want to take away my most precious part of my experience with, right?
Yeah, and as long as she keeps waking up and asking for it, because she does ask for it. Like, I that's the one
You're
time where she
okay.
really asks for it, where it's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do it."
Because she's a very busy girl during the
She's
day.
very busy.
And
She ain't got
she's
time.
so distracted that she pretty much bottle feeds during the day, right?
Even on the days I'm home, she bottle feeds.
Because she's just like, I don't have time to sit down and nurse. I got to learn to crawl. And she's almost crawling.
Yes, she's army crawling. She scoots
It's
her little
scoot. She's
booty.
in that scoot.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Scoot stage. It's so
It looks
cute where
so
they get their
awkward.
butt in the air and they're
Yep.
rocking back and forth. It's so
Mhm.
cute. And so, yeah, she's just got to say, I'm too busy. But then you get that personal time at night.
Yeah.
I know. I did. I loved that too.
I do wish you would nurse during the day. I
Well,
do.
they would be a little more convenient for you not having to
Yeah.
pump, huh?
Yeah, and again, just more
Just more.
quality time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with me being at work and her dad having, like, he has to bottle feed her during the day when
Yeah,
I work. Like,
sure.
she's just like, "Okay, this is an option, I'm gonna take that." I
Mm-hmm.
kinda plan to nurse until she doesn't wanna nurse,
Yeah.
especially because we've only really nursed at night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I don't know when she's going to decide that she doesn't wanna nurse at night,
Mm-hmm.
or, you know, here and there. It might shorten the time that we breastfeed maybe if she decides that she wants to sleep through the night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna keep offering it. I donate a lot,
Uh-huh.
and I want to keep donating until I get sick of pumping, just because I feel like that helps facilitate other moms who maybe don't produce enough. They can still breastfeed if they want,
Yeah.
and then supplement.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't breastfeed at all, they can still, you know,
Have some milk.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
How
I love that.
oh,
It
tell me about the donation. Like, how did that come about for you?
it started out kind of with the dairy allergy. I have always been an overproducer. My milk was in at the hospital like day 2, and you were there for that. Like, I was just leaking through everything. So I collected a lot of milk just without really having to try with the Hakas, because that's what everybody said. Oh, do the Haka. Which I eventually had to cut out because I was overproducing so much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I had like a 1,200, not 12, yeah, 1,200 ounces in my freezer that we couldn't use after we found out that she had a dairy allergy and she wasn't probably going to outgrow it for a year. So we were just
Wow.
sitting on
That's an enormous amount of
it.
milk.
Yes, it was a lot, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do anything with it. There's no way she's going to drink it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll just donate it.
Yeah.
And so I found a family. They were happy to accept it, and then they messaged me again a while later, and they were like, "Do you have any more?" And I was like, "Yeah," because we don't have a deep freezer. We have a little bit of space at the in-laws' house that we use as a little backup stash, but we don't have the means to,
Keep
fill an entire deep freeze.
and right, and nobody should have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that I'm really stressed about, thankfully. Um, and so I just donate every 2 weeks, every 2, 3 weeks, about 300 ounces. They
Wow.
messaged me or I messaged them, and we meet up, and it works out.
That's so fantastic.
I
Did you find them through an app or did you find them through friends or
Facebook.
through
There's
Facebook?
there's a there's a Facebook group that I joined just intending to donate what I had.
Yeah.
And then they were so happy and so relieved to have it that I was like, I'm producing all this extra milk. It's burning a hole in my freezer. I might as well share it.
That's so
And
wonderful. And like I love it that you were able to just connect with somebody right away that needed it.
mhm.
There's like many ways to donate. You can donate like you're doing. You can also donate to milk banks.
Yeah, and I think they just opened a new milk bank.
They know open the milk bank depot here in Richmond for the Children's Hospital, the King's
Mhm.
Daughters Milk Bank. So you can easily drop your milk off here in Richmond and then they'll get it
Oh,
to the
no,
milk
okay.
bank. Yeah.
Hey, that's an avenue that I might
It's
explore.
that you don't have to, deal with the FedEx shipping, right?
Mhm.
You could
Yeah,
just bring it to the depot and they'll make sure they'll take it from there. Um, and there's a little bit more in the process of becoming a donor to a milk bank lab work
yeah. Yeah, that's why I
and that
kinda
kind of
went the
thing.
unofficial
Yeah,
route.
yeah.
Um,
But how wonderful. So you're feeding 2 babies.
2 babies. Yes, which I
That's
love.
gotta give you a sense of pride.
I I don't wanna toot my own horn, but I love it. I love being able to share it. I love that it kinda gives me an excuse to keep the oversupply, keep the breastfeeding journey going. Um, it's and it helps facilitate somebody else who
Yeah,
is an underproducer, or who doesn't make enough. Like, I don't know, just something about how happy and relieved that they were when they were like, "Thank you so much." Like, it
yeah.
means the world to them.
Oh, that's
And
wonderful.
it's nothing extra for me. I pump anyway.
Right.
It
This is just extra milk that's coming out.
Yeah,
You're not to do that, you're not putting extra steps in your day. It just happens to work
it
out
just
that
happens
way.
to work out that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there were some way we knew how to fix that for all moms, that they could all make enough, but sometimes moms don't.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's wonderful that they have you. That's great. It's interesting how the dairy allergy ended up being a real positive thing for somebody else.
Yeah. And I mean, they're still getting the dairy-free milk, but they're not a dairy-free family, so
Yeah.
it kinda works out. So, eventually, I think their child is older
Yeah.
and may wean sooner, and then once, you know, they are no longer in need, my goal is to find a non-dairy,
And
family and donate.
recipient.
Yeah,
That's a great plan.
because maybe not everybody's able to cut out the dairy the way I have,
Yeah.
because it's hard and it's stressful. I have dreams where I eat dairy. Like,
Oh
I
my.
think about it all the time. Or, like, you can't go out, or you have to be extra careful that the way
Uh-huh.
you order food, and,
It's quite a choice to make
it
because
is.
we're so in our culture, we're just so driven toward dairy,
Yes.
right? As in everything. They put it in everything. In parenting, it's like it really is as cliche as it sounds, like trying to find the positive and the silver lining and the like flip side and all of that. But like look at the just blessing that came out of something that could have been such a horrible challenge and hardship for you with the dairy thing, and now you're like a donor for a
Mhm.
mom that needs it, and you may end up feeding 3 babies before everything's said and done,
Yeah.
and so it's like, you know, we don't always know when we hit these, like, tough spots, like, there's usually a lesson or I hate the word lesson. There's usually something good
Yeah, that comes
that
out of
can
it.
come out of it. There are a few things in life that kind of seems like nothing good ever comes out of it, but there's usually something good can come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and for me, that's, one, still get to breastfeed my daughter because I managed to cut out the dairy, and
Yeah.
two, now I have a recipient that I met because I had so much milk to donate.
You have a new friend.
Yeah.
So do you have any other like special things like you want set down on the podcast that you, if Eleanor ever listens to it one day, you want yourself to remember or you want her to know?
Definitely want her to know that cutting out dairy was not easy, and I missed dairy a lot. Um,
Well, at the end of this, you need to go get a milkshake.
yeah, a milkshake, cheesecake,
Yes.
real pizza, um,
Yeah.
fudge rounds.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess I hope that she knows how hard I tried and
Mhm.
how much, I want it to continue to work. I hope she never gives it up almost sometime. I
Right.
want to sleep through the night, but like if night feeding is the only time where we get to hang out and do it, she can do it.
That's fine. She won't do it forever.
No, I'm scared she's gonna stop. You know,
Yeah.
one night she's just gonna sleep through the night, and then she's never gonna wake up at night again. That was the
I
last
will
time.
say this though. The good thing is because people do. I when I talk to moms about weaning, and it is. It's like it's a different chapter when that chapter is complete, and you kind of don't really have control over when that is. Like babies sometimes will be like chapter's over, and you're like what?
Yeah,
And then sometimes it's like the mom's like, I really need this chapter to be over, but there's another chapter and another chapter. Well, thanks so much for doing this. I'm so delighted. And I feel like we touched on like like we really got to those like the thing that I was hoping for where we were discussing that like what's really magical about it. And you talk about having that experience at night. You talked about being there for another mom with your milk. You talked even about the struggles that you've had, but how you've overcome them and like that's made you like a stronger person. You talked about how um, you've learned to take things in stride.
yeah. That's probably the biggest one. Is Eleanor is very much throwing, controlling everything. Like she is in charge. You know.
Yeah, yeah. We think we're in charge with our kids, but we're not. They-
No, not at this
I mean,
stage.
to some extent we are, but like, no, they're these whole other people doing what they're gonna do, and yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy that we did this.
Yeah,
I think I think people are gonna get a lot out of your story.
I hope so. I hope I told it well enough.
Yes, you did. It was great. Rumina's Story Hour, the Positive Breastfeeding Podcast, is a production of Lactation Arts LLC. Copyright 2025, Carrie York, all rights reserved. Rumina's Story Hour, Carrie York, RN, IBCLC, and Lactation Arts LLC, in hosting this podcast, inform you that this is for informational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I am a nurse and lactation consultant, but I'm not your consultant unless you have signed the legal paperwork and we have an established agreement. If you are struggling with your own health or your child's health, seek help from your doctor, pediatrician, midwife, or lactation consultant today. In the case of an emergency, stop listening and call 911. We respect the choices and paths of all individuals. We promote the fine art and lactation practice of Carrie York and Lactation Arts LLC, but are not affiliated with any other company and have no other conflicts of interest to declare. We are compliant with the WHO Code of Marketing Breast Milk Substitutes and do not take advertisements from companies who are code violators. You can learn more about the art that Carrie makes at carrieyork.com. Follow me on Instagram at Carrie York, CARYYORK _ or purchase art from my Etsy shop, Carrie York, CARYYORK .etsy.com. My private lactation practice is found at lactationarts.com. Thank you for listening and welcome to our community.